Hello, and thanks for tuning in again or for the first time if this is your first time. Um, no title on this one. I think I'm picking up from last time and we'll just take a trip together, okay? So I want to begin by saying that probably I'm going to say who cares a lot in this conversation with myself. I want you to see if I want you to see how that feels for you in whatever context I use it in. Okay, that's all. So I'm gonna start from last video's conversation about anorexia, and we're gonna quickly squash that. Okay, so quickly squash that. Okay, so this is where I want to begin. First of all, if you are a person who is going through what is commonly known as anorexia, or actually any sort of food disorder, typically I've been told or read or seen or whatever that, especially with anorexia, that is a food disorder, which says that the person who is suffering from it doesn't have self-worth and does not feel worthy of being here, of being alive, and it's sort of their way of withering away, perhaps looking for attention or whatever. So to you, my darling, dear one, however old, whatever age you are, however long you've had this thing, I want to just say to you that you are worthy of being alive. You are here on purpose, for purpose. And what I want to say to the whole anorexia thing is, can we just take that label and throw it in the garbage? Can we just get rid of that? Because it's absolute rubbish. On the topic of food, like I was saying last time, there are so many conditions. There's so much programming. I don't know that we will ever get on top of it if it is an issue for you. And the thing is, you've got to, we've got to shut out everybody and everything in regards to food, telling us what is healthy and what is not. Do you know, like, I'm sure you've seen that coconut oil is like, it's like the Windex from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, right? You use it for everything and it's the best thing on earth and whatever. And you know, I saw recently that coconut oil is poison. And there's things floating around the World Wide Web about that now, and you can probably get, actually I looked into apple cider vinegar, which I do a shot of regularly every night, and if you ask me why, I just say, oh, I heard it was a good thing, and da-da-da. Like, and I questioned myself about it. I went online, I looked up all the things that ACV is good for, and it's all just a program. It's all just conditioning. You know, by the time I'm sure it has some merit. I'm sure coconut oil has merit. I'm sure there's lots of things out there that are really wonderful for us. But everything gets, for lack of a better word, I'm going to say raped. By the time it hits mass media, it gets so twisted and, you know, how can we make money out of this? Blah, 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 blah. Like, no wonder there's so many issues in the world, you know. And so yeah, what I want to say, let's go back to the people who call themselves anorexics or bulimics or say they have food disorders. You don't, okay? You are friggin' perfect the way that you are. You're on your own path. you're figuring it out. It's okay to eat, it's okay to not eat. I've been on both sides. I'll tell you what, in a nutshell, went through all of that, the anorexia, bulimia, whatever. Don't want to talk about it anymore. It's an old story. And guys, that's what it is. It's a story. It's a condition. It's conditioning. It's programming. As long as we keep talking about it, we keep perpetuating it. So let's change our song, shall we? Let's change the tune. So what happens when we no longer label ourselves as anorexic, or I have a food disorder, or I have a headache, or I am this, or I am that? What if you don't do that anymore? Then you no longer are that thing. That thing is no longer affecting you. Then one day you wake up and you're like, hey, that's gone. I promise you, that's like, I practice this stuff. That's why I can sit here and tell you. And in fact, I just want to address the fact that I was offline for a very long time. You won't catch me on social media except for now YouTube and LinkedIn, if you consider that social media. I don't really, but that's my place to share. And now back to YouTube. I went off for a long time because, I was talking about emotional intelligence before, and then there was just no more to talk about. There was nothing, because what I recognized in like my one season, 16 sessions of doing Facebook Live videos, was that the things that I was talking about, like the negative stuff that I would come on and be honest about and really candid and blah, 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 those were the very things that were happening to me. And so proving myself right with like the law of attraction, what you focus on is what you're getting back, right? So stop doing that. And really all I wanted to say anymore was that, hey, do you know what? Just feel good. That's all. Just do your best to feel good, because that's the most important thing on earth. In every single moment, we are creating our reality. So it makes the most amount of sense to, if we don't feel good, get around to feeling better as fast as you can, whatever it takes. Within reason, I mean, not hurting anybody and nor yourself. You know what I mean. Not going and drinking your face off or something to feel good, because that's rather temporary, isn't it? And it doesn't leave you feeling good in the end. Yeah, so that's it. That's all I wanted to say about the food disorder thing. Gone. It's gone. You can choose that right now. You don't have to relive that title ever again. It's up to you, and it is a practice. But I suppose that I'm going to say that a lot. It is a practice. Look, if you've been for so many years practicing that storyline, then you've got to unpractice it and go the opposite direction. Say, hey, actually, I'm all right, and this is the way I eat, and this is the way I want to eat. I'm worthy of being here. I love me. I'm here on purpose. I came here on purpose. I don't know if you believe in reincarnation. That's sort of an old paradigm, I think, but it's well worth reading Brian Weiss. I won't go into detail about who he is or whatever, except that he's a psychiatrist, wrote a book called Many Lives, Many Masters, many years ago. Now he's just, you know what, I'm going to put that in the description box. Many Lives, Many Masters, Brian Weiss. If that resonates with you, do read it. It's totally about reincarnation, coming from a clinical psychiatrist who is head of department at Harvard or something. I can't remember the details, but well worth reading that book. A good starter into reincarnation. But anyways, do you know what? Even that's a paradigm. You come out of that, because that's reincarnation's a social program. So is karma. Guys, everything's a program. Even the things that I'm telling you right now are things that I've heard, that they're wholly things that I believe in. a program. But you know what the cool thing is? I'm going to let you in on something, because as I already said, if we're the creators of our own reality, then you are creating me and I am creating you, and we're creating this situation together, right? So whether you believe in reincarnation or not, whether you believe in aliens or not, whether you believe in, I wanted the aliens, I said that, there's something else, gosh, there's a big one, gone, whatever, it doesn't matter, whatever you believe in, right? Black, white, this, that, whatever. Let's say opposing. There's a conspiracy, that's what I wanted to say. Conspiracy theorists, truthers, blah, blah, blah. And then there's the, like, you guys are nuts, sort of, the opposing side. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who believes what. All of it is coming into fruition. All of it's happening because there's mass collective. There's the collective consciousness of everybody existing, everybody. So all the opposing views and everything that's going on, everything's happening. There are infinite timelines. So what more is there to say than feel good? Sound crazy? I don't care. God, this feels good to finally release this. You know how many times I've gone over this in my head? Man, it feels good to finally say this out loud. So, if all the timelines exist, if everything that you think about, right? If all of that is real in this so-called reality, doesn't it make sense to feel good? I don't know what sort of news you tune into, whether it's sort of mainstream, CNN, NBC, and Washington Post, and blah, 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 all that rubbish. I absolutely just said that. Otherwise, you go to the other side and, other side, yeah, sure, let's call it that. You're reading the sort of stuff that opposes mainstream media, because you're, whatever, doesn't even matter. What I want to say is this. Okay, if you're reading into non-mainstream media, and then you're hearing things about massive elite pedophile rings that are worldwide, that are Vatican huge, that are Hillary and Bill Clinton related. Now, of course, this is conditioning and programming that I've picked up in my sort of path, right? But this is what I tune into, whatever. So I'm going to talk about it. And so if you're on that end, you've been tuning into that kind of stuff, right? And that's your mind is fixed to that. All those people are bad, whatever. And if you don't know that, and I truly do believe that there are people on top of this world that are so sick and evil that do actually, that are part of human trafficking rings, in the names that I mentioned. Oh, so right in the in the pockets of government that the puppets, right, that are have seemingly been in power for the people. Now, for those of you who are still tuned into mainstream media and I'm thinking that I'm really off my rocker at the moment, if you would dare go to, check out my website, thislittlecookie.com, and I've got, I did recently post a blog about sites that I tune into. Do you know what? Just pop on there and say, all right, do you know what, man? Let's check this out and see if this has any merit. Go see it for yourself. People are really digging around the world, working together. A lot of people are working together, not getting paid or getting paid very little, to really dig and do the research research from like the WikiLeaks things that are happening and whatever. And look, so a lot of stuff is about to come to the surface, and it's sick. There's a lot of sick shit coming around. And this is the biggest thing that I want to say to you. If you don't remember anything else that I say in this video, please remember this. That despite whatever is coming forward in the world, what's going to headline soon, and even the mainstream media is going to have to start focusing on it and get off the silly antics of, you know, or not silly, whatever, antics of Kanye, Trump, and whatever, distraction sort of news. When the real shit hits the fan, actually, and it has. We, you know, when we say the calm before the storm, we're already in the storm. It's already happening. It's just not mainstream yet. It's not. But oh man, but is it ever climbing into the mainstream? It's getting there. Anyhow, the very one thing that I want to say about this is that when you start hearing shit about stuff, about human trafficking, human sacrificing, child sacrificing, really, really horrid stuff coming along, okay? Really, really horrid stuff. Things that might make you pass out, cry, jump out of your skin, sort of stuff. Look, when that sort of stuff starts to come into your attention, your focus, please take a deep breath and resist the need or desire to put your fist up and fight. Because you know what? If I say something like you are the creator of your own reality, which I wholly believe, not believe, but know, and you and I have done this, you are part of my reality as much as I am part of yours, then we have also contributed to the reality around us en masse, like the whole entire world. We're not perpetrators, but actually we are. If we're not questioning shit, and we're just allowing it to be, like, you know, you see something in the news, and you just don't think it's right, and you get on with your day, whatever, but that's over there, it doesn't affect me, whatever. Do you know, we've been asleep for a long, long time, and so yeah, we've contributed to this. We've contributed to letting people just absolutely mow over us as we sleep, or as we slept, but not anymore. Okay? So, right, going back to when you start to hear and see and get wind of this kind of stuff, all I ask for you is that you go inwards, because the only way we can change, listen, okay, yeah, the only way we're able to change anything is by changing ourselves. I know that's so cliche, it's so cliche, I know, but practicing that, and it works. It works if you've never tried it. You've got to give it a go. Eventually you're going to have to. It's the direction that we're heading in. So, yeah, fighting doesn't help. Look at breast cancer. Look at breast cancer. All these foundations, and you know, the March for Breast Cancer, and cancers, and like in general, and where's cancer going? It's exploding. It's not getting better. What the heck? What's that all about? How come cancer has not been eradicated yet? How come it hasn't been cured? Why is this still going on? And oh boy, let's not get on the topic of vaccinations. I can't remember the name. I talked about vaccinations last week. Dare I say vaccinations? I can't remember exactly whatever. In any case, funny that I talked about it last week briefly, or went sort of over it, and then going through the news sites that I tune into, There was I can't remember his name, forgive me. There's an MMA fighter and his wife who lost their 20-month-old son, who's happy, cheery, wonderful, happy-go-lucky kid who had a round of vaccinations and died from them. I'll put up a post about that as well, or a link, sorry, I'll link that as well. Isn't it time? Isn't it time to, like, say, what the heck? There's no more, like, there can't be any more of this, vaccinations, no, those guys are, they're just nuts, whatever, it's conspiracy theories. Come on, if there's an inkling, if there's a story about it, I can't remember who said it, I don't know if it was Tesla or Einstein or what, it's someone, one of the greats who said that if you can imagine it, it exists. It exists. It's already. So do you know what? Like all these horror stories about vaccinations, as rather than calling me a conspiracy theorist or saying that that's a conspiracy theorist idea, look into it yourself. There's another blog post that I put up a month ago, 2 months ago, something about a doctor who and she's not the first doctor who said that they just didn't learn all the crap about vaccinations in medical school. That's a whole different topic. Don't even get me started there. Anyways. Yeah, so here's a story. And this will all tie in and we'll come back to, but it doesn't matter, and who cares anyways. A couple of month, something, I was at a yoga festival and run by some really lovely people. I don't know their last names, but Martin and Mirka, who did the Freedom Festival, Unlimited, United, Freedom. And I normally don't go to those sorts of things, but I did go because I felt compelled to. I do yoga in my own space, and actually that's funny, what is yoga? I'll get to that in a second. So anyways, I just felt compelled to go. I did. There's one thing I really wanted to see or be part of, and that was the kirtan. I loved that. I loved specifically Sikh hymns. I love them, and especially sort of new age singers like Jai Jagdish and Snatham Kaur and people like that. Love them. Mirabai Saiba. So this is my imagination. I'm thinking that's what I'm going for. I'm going to pay the 60 euros for the day, and I'm going to do it. And it was the last thing of the day, and I left after like 5 minutes because I just couldn't be there anymore. In any case, there's a man named Troy Turin. I didn't check his last name, but I believe, and he wouldn't care anyways. Troy, who did a workshop, the very first one of my day, called Consciousness Excavation. So, what can I tell you? Blew my mind. And that's exactly what I needed. I'm still, Troy, if ever you watch this, still reeling after that. All I can say is that was sort of the precursor or the reinstatement of my, what does it matter anyways? And who really cares? What's the big deal? Do you know what? Have fun. Be well. Really it was. So, like a good little student, and I haven't been in a sort of classroom in a long time, like a good little student, I sat front row center, and there's about, I think, 12 other people or something, and Troy asked us, so what is yoga? And no one put their hand up, no one said anything. I was like, okay, I'll just say, because I don't think yoga is all about bendy, twisty, flexible, doing the splits and pushing your foot behind your head and all that kind of stuff, Sanskrit, the definition of yoga is union between the body and the mind. So I like that. And union between the body and the mind does not mean you have to even move. You don't have to do anything. So, not that I don't like to move, I love to move, and it's really important to do so. That's not the topic right now. Anyhow, so no one's answering. So I put up my hand, or I just spit out, well, yoga is the union between body and the mind. And Troy asks me, what's that? I say, well, feeling good. And he says, what's that? I said, well, that's a good question. Boom. That was the unraveling of me 2 or 3 weeks ago. Thank you, Troy. I so needed that. Big breath in, big breath out. Totally shattered me, broke me, and that's what I went for. I went to never come back the same, and I don't think I have. Thanks to that workshop, it's really helped me walk further into my life, without knowing tomorrow, without knowing the end of today. And I cannot say that I'm particularly at peace with that all the time. But I know that's, I've got to catch up with that. I want to catch up with that. I love the fact that sometimes I just don't understand. Oh man, it's so liberating. Do you know how liberating it is? Remember me back in the days of, and I said this last time, oh yeah, fitness is the way, and no, nutrition is the way, and this is the way, and to ultimate happiness, and yoga, blah, blah, blah. No, absolutely no. I don't know the way, actually. I don't know the way. I did read somewhere something recently. Perhaps my darling sister Nikki sent it to me. God bless her. The quote was something along the lines of, if you know the path ahead of you, that ain't your path. Because your path unfolds as you step out onto it. Loved that. I don't know who said it, I can't remember, forgive me. Gosh, it'd be great if I could remember yesterday, but I can't. And that's, yeah. It's been a wonderful unraveling of me since then. I went to the workshops that I wanted to, that I wrote down that I would go to after the session with Troy, and I was, for lack of a better way of saying it, just out of my mind. And I find myself there often. Perhaps I shouldn't be admitting this out loud, but I am, and that's okay. So if I give relief to some of you, one of you, who's feeling the same way, well, good. You're not nuts, darling. You're not nuts. All right? We're all headed in this direction. We're all going to have to let go of this coat and drop this avatar and go inwards. All right? This all links together. Everything I'm talking about links together. Because you know what? Everything's programming. Everything's conditioning. Everything is... It's so deep. Like, I talk about it in the words that I use cannot describe the thickness, how deep-rooted this whole thing is. This game of life, this sort of simulation called reality, is... We've got to break free from it, because when we don't, we stay locked into a system whereby the purpose for which we came here is not lived out. How's that? Anyways, I think I want to end it here. I think that's enough. What do you think? Yes, one more. A friend asked me a couple of weeks ago. She's struggling a little bit. A lot of people are right now. You know that, right? I bet you are too. And if you're not, great. Just be honest with yourself, okay? I've had my share of struggles, and you know what? These days, it's like, all right, bring it on. Because actually, let me say this: in this hugely energetic time, the things that are coming up right now, especially old past stuff, you might be dreaming about things that you haven't thought about for a long time, past childhood, whatever, past life. Those things are coming up on purpose, things that haven't been dealt with, okay? So they're coming up for you to walk through, finally, once and for all, to transcend them. So let's say you have a drinking problem, or let's say that you had a drinking problem and all of a sudden, actually no, I'll tell you this, really strangely for me, so you know, or whether you do or you don't, doesn't matter, I don't eat meat, I haven't for a while, and I can't bear the thought of it. However, in the past week or two, I've like envisaged myself biting into like a burger or steak or something, and stopped in my tracks and kind of went, oh, I don't want that though. And I actually dreamt twice about having meat, eating meat. I can't physically, like, even, you know, putting my own mouth around my arm is like, no, it doesn't, no, I won't eat meat. It's not gonna happen. But things like that, for whatever reason, because of huge energy, things like that are coming up. I did, however, have a piece of cheese and milk chocolate, of course. Who cares? Who cares? Whatever. So old stuff is coming up for us to finally be like, do you know what? Yeah, come to my table. Come to the table of my thoughts. I invite you right here, right now. You come to me, sit down, tell me what you gotta tell me, because you've been bugging me for a long fucking time, right? So invite that thing that you've been resisting, that, oh, I can't, I mustn't, because then you'll be a really bad person, and then you'll just judge yourself in awful, you know what I'm talking about, right? Guilt, shame, blah, 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 all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. So how about you invite that thing to the table of your mind and just deal with it. Invite it in. Come on in. It's been knocking at your door. Come on in. Instead of locking it in, pushing it away. Bring it to the table of your mind. Have a conversation. What would you like? Would you like some dinner? Can I get you a drink? Whatever. And when you start to get into the practice of that, because I'm not saying that the first time you invite that thing in, it's gonna leave, but it's surely gonna get uncomfortable, right? So invite it in and see what it wants from you. Ask what it wants from you, and see if you can dissipate it. It's the only way. We can't resist anymore. You know, I've said this before. It was like Scott C. Peck said, he quoted Buddha in the Four Noble Truths, saying that life is suffering. Well, it is, if you don't think it is. It isn't when you know it is. And when you can say, life is suffering, oh yeah, with all your heart, oh man, you walk through this really beautiful, shiny veil. You come out to the other side, and and you start to recognize the bliss. Oh, there's another topic. Anyways, we'll leave that for next time. But yeah. So coming back to what that person asked me. I was asked from this person who's going through this period of suffering, do you think I'm a prisoner of my mind? And I said, I don't know. I can't answer that. Only you can. And I suspect, since the question is being asked, be a yes. But I had to ask myself the same question because I'm not some sort of yogi or guru or whatever, sitting on a cloud with all the answers, surpass whatever. I'm not that. What I am is on my own path. And so I had to look at that question as well for myself. And am I a prisoner of my mind? Sure. Sure I am. Yeah. It's the way... That's path inwards, right? To be able to admit that first. Not just like words, but yeah, I am. I'm a prisoner to my mind. And the only way to walk through that is to practice awareness and mindfulness and being here in the present moment. So let us do that, okay? Let us do that. So yeah, and again, this all is a big circle. It all ties in because, you know, no matter what, everything comes back to you. Everything comes back to you. You know, we want to take away the titles, but if, you know, for the person who doesn't eat, I think that's a bad thing. First of all, stop judging yourself, right? And because nobody else cares. I mean, people care superficial level, but the only person who really cares about you is you. And that's the most important thing anyways. No one else can take care of you but you. No one else can be the support for you as you can be the support for yourself. Got that? So, there. I finish up there. And I'm wishing you a marvelous day. I hope this was fruitful for you. It was certainly fruitful for me. I love doing this, and every time I do it, it's practice, isn't it? So, for what? I don't know. Always getting ready to be ready for whatever. Be your best, your absolute best, whatever that means. Be gentle on yourselves. Go inward instead of outwards. Everything you need is right here. And it's always talking to you. Always, always, always. God bless you.